Trump did the right thing and leaned in. He wore the garbage vest. He got in a garbage truck. He held a quick mini presser from the garbage truck. Here's a little bit of that in Sat 4.
I think the Democrats have done a very poor job. We're leading in every state. We're leading big, and I think that the comment made by really both of them, because there are really two of them, about being garbage, maybe 250 million people, they shouldn't be talking. That's like deplorable for Hillary. This is the deplorable for Hillary. And I think this is worse, actually. For Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace. I love Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico loves me. I don't know anything about a comedian. I don't know anything about the comedian. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. I heard he made a statement, but it was just a statement that he made. He's a comedian. What can I tell you? How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
So first of all, one of the great things about Trump that goes under-recognized is that he tells you exactly what he wants you to think. That's effective messaging. It's worse than Hillary's deplorables. It is worse than Hillary's deplorables. He wants that in your head. And the garbage thing, like it's that bad, like over and over telling you how you should think about it. That's the genius of Trump. And that picture right there of Trump in the garbage truck that reads Trump, Make America Great Again on the side 2024 with the American flag flying large and blowing in the wind from where he is. It's another iconic photo, just like the one of him in McDonald's. It is another iconic photo. So then Trump goes and holds his rally in Wisconsin, and he tells the story. This is just classic Trump of how this whole thing came about, the truck and the vest, which he is still wearing inside the rally arena while he tells the story.
And I come into the arena and I say, "Where's my jacket? I want to get out of this thing." And they said, "It would be unbelievable if you could wear it on stage." I said, "No way. I got 25,000 people standing outside. I got all these people here. There's no way I'm wearing it on stage." They said, "Oh, okay, sir." I said, "Get me my jacket. But if you did, you know, it actually makes you look thinner." I said, and they got me. I said, "I want to wear it on stage." When they said I look thinner, I said, "In that case, I'll wear it on stage."
It's classic, vintage, right on point. And then he adds the following about the difficulty in getting up into one of those huge garbage trucks, which would be hard for most people. And, you know, Trump's not exactly the slimmest man. And talked about how it was a little bit challenging for him.
So I said, "Man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing." These stupid people, they'll say, "He's cognitively and physically impaired." And I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look, the first stair is like up here. I'm saying, shit. So I had the adrenaline going and I made it. I made it. And then I gave a little news conference from the front of the, they asked their wise guy questions and everything. And then we drove about 2 feet. I got out, got into the plane.
So good, Stu.
I didn't know Hitler was so funny. I mean, that is a hilarious Nazi right there. It really is. I will say, if I was in the meetings before they started scheduling this thing, the McDonald's thing, you're going to go on stage in your garbage outfit, I think as a campaign advisor, I'd be like, "No, dude, please don't. You're going to look like Dukakis with his head out of the tank. It's going to be terrible." And there's just something about unique about Trump where he can pull these things off. I mean, this was endearing. He's a funny, endearing guy when he wants to be. And I think if you look back to 2016, Stephen kind of mentioned this earlier. If you go back to 2016, he was kind of this new guy, and he was He was had his funny moments. He was still sort of an entertainer to most people. And then 2020 was sort of like, it was a little darker. It was more of an insult comic version of Trump at times. Right now, he's just got the vibe right. This is smart campaigning, putting him on these podcasts. It's where he shines. He's able to be honest and kind of, authentic. I mean, Kamala Harris is completely incapable of having moments like we just saw. She can't do it. And because she can't do it, she can't go on the Joe Rogan podcast for 3 hours. She can't have these moments that are connecting with people. And Trump, look, it's still a very close election. A lot of people hate his guts. He may very well lose. But it won't be because he's Hitler. It won't be because any of that stuff is true. He's a pretty entertaining guy. And that's why, he was one of the most famous people in America before he started running for president.
Stephen, we're getting to know Trump in a way many people have never seen him before. He's talking about his personal life more, like on Joe Rogan, his reaction to the White House, some of the behind the scenes things that we saw in, say, Tucker Carlson's documentary, Art of the Surge, even some of the behind the scenes video that they've released of him with his boys backstage of the one debate, calling them sweetheart and honey, like his grown boy's sweet. And then this, right? He's self-deprecating. He's making fun of his size. He's making fun of how hard it would be to get into a garbage truck like that, his vanity. I think this is actually very effective. And to Stu's point about the Dukakis thing, Ian Sams, the spokesperson for the Kamala Harris campaign, just a complete hack, tweets out, who would have dreamt that he'd have not one but two Dukakis moments in one campaign, putting out the pictures of the McDonald's picture and him in the truck, like completely not getting it. And in that one tweet, you look at and you think, I'm starting to get why they're doing so poorly. Like I don't know that Kamala Harris is all that well served by this team.
Ian Sams is the comms guy who famously put out the Juicy Smollett lynching tweet. And so that, just so you know the context of who that is. Yes, he is.
What?
Oh yeah, 100%. You generally know how effective Trump's stunts are based on the reaction of the people who don't like him. And this has been the case for years. And this took me back to 2016 when people didn't think he was going to win. It's like, how can we actually go for this? There was an interesting moment. You may not remember it, but Trump went to Pennsylvania and he stood in front of like a wall of garbage. And you had several journalists and people in the media like clowning on him about the advance team. And they're like, who thought this was a good idea for Trump to go to this garbage plant or a recycling plant or whatever it was, and stand in front of this wall of garbage. And then he also did a thing where he put on the hard hat, and they all kind of goofed and clowned on it, and it worked. And he won that state. And so I take things like this, they're funny and they are political stunts, but you take things like this, and to kind of echo what Stu said, Kamala Harris could be doing this stuff. The whole McDonald's thing was both hey, I kind of want to go and do this, but it's also a thing to question if Kamala Harris ever worked at McDonald's, which nobody is saying she hasn't. There's just no evidence that she has. She could have gone and done that. And this is, to me, kind of why this is effective, is like what he said. Trump can go on Joe Rogan and just, BS for 3 hours. Kamala won't do that for one reason or the other. Trump can go to McDonald's and work the fry. The fact that she let him get in front of that before her is mystifying to me. And so I looked at this thing from 2016 when, again, he's at this recycling plant in Pennsylvania. We'd never seen a Republican do that. We didn't see Mitt Romney, stand in front of just a wall of recycled aluminum and talk to voters. And that's kind of the whole effectiveness of what Trump did in 2016. We can go through the antics and we can go through the brashness and all of that, but Trump started talking to voters that the Republican Party hadn't been talking to for decades. And that's why he is effective at doing these kinds of things. We can laugh at the gaudiness of the orange vest, but that hits different for people. He's somebody who he's largely allowed to rise to power in the Republican Party because he's speaking to people that the Republican Party has ignored.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I mean, honestly, one of my questions for Donald Trump at that first debate, I think it was at the first one back in 2015, was how long have you been a Republican? Because Trump wasn't. He was a Democrat, but Trump was just kind of more nonpartisan. He had his issues that he cared about, and he understood, and he mentioned this on Rogan. Like you kind of got to run, you got to pick one. You can't run independent. It doesn't work out well. So he picked Republican, and instead of him falling on his face and the Republican Party squashing him, he bent the Republican Party to his will, and it's now his party. And that's why he's getting such a different coalition. They're putting him over the top. Now,
he just likes slapping the crap out of politicians. That's it. And no base feels more betrayed, right or wrongly, by their politicians than the Republican Party. And Trump just tapped into that. He just went up on stage and made fun of Marco Rubio and made fun of Rand Paul and made fun of Jeb Bush. And that's really all that the voting base wanted at that point.
Am I Racist is the Daily Wire's box office hit comedy, and it's the #1 grossing documentary of the decade. Good news is it's now available to stream exclusively on Daily Wire Plus. From the same team that brought you the cultural phenomenon, What is a Woman?, comes their next big question. Am I racist? In this hilarious and revealing film, Matt Walsh goes deep undercover, infiltrating the bizarre world, truly, of diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's so good. You've got to see it. He gets the most powerful figures in the race-hustling establishment to say all the quiet parts out loud, exposing the absurdity of modern corporate and institutional diversity practices. And now you can witness the collapse of DEI from the comfort of your own couch. But here's the catch. You can only watch Am I Racist with a Daily Wire Plus membership. So don't miss out. Go to dailywire.com/subscribe and use code DEI to get 35% off your new annual membership. That's dailywire.com/subscribe, and be sure to use the code DEI, love that, for 35% off your subscription. Am I Racist is streaming now exclusively on Daily Wire Plus. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.